Hello again. I think we will spare you some of the preamble from last week's meeting, as I'm sure you recall. Let's go ahead and just get you right into the proper state of mind. You'll find it is easier to reach the necessary state now, but if you are struggling, you can always preface this with some deep breathing and stress release exercises. We can pause a moment if you need time. Ready to begin? Excellent. Close your eyes. This time, I want to try and direct you to a specific location. A place you've been to in the waking world, but which has a very close connection to the Otherworld. Your bedroom as a child. As this we are evoking a memory, this will be very specific to you, even more so than last time. Let's start by taking a trip back. If you were lucky enough to have a stable housing over the years, this bedroom may have been a place where you spent a third or more of your childhood. If not, try to focus on one bedroom in particular. A child's sanctuary, curtailed to your own interests and needs. Or perhaps a cell to which you were sentenced by angry parents. Do you remember the bed? What kind of bedding did you have? Were you all alone, or did you share the bed or the room with siblings?
Never alone.
Did you have bunk beds? Which bunk were you? What about the furniture? Where did you keep your toys and perhaps video games? What shelves held comic books and what shelves held leftover school books from the previous years? Where did you hide your diary? Where did you keep the crinkly folded letter from your first childhood best friend? As with before, the better a picture you can formulate in your mind, the better it will be for our purposes. Be precise. I'll give you a moment to focus.
I never left. And I've missed you. Come back.
Curious how you can see it now so clearly, but when you saw the door last time, you didn't want to open it. You can see it now, though, can't you? The door just out of place, perhaps where your closet used to be. The same one we saw last week with the red frame and the silver handle. Yes, it is the same, and it leads to that same corridor. Let us continue. The hallway feels shorter this week, doesn't it? Still as vertically imposing as ever, with the same number of side tracks and just as barren as before. But you can almost see the light at the far door already. You've barely set out on it. You're doing better at keeping yourself in the right frame of mind. You want, I think, for this journey to proceed apace, you want to know what lies at the end. That's good. Open the far door, and you'll find, yes, no room at all this time, just the same void from which you fell last week. The gap between realities is loosened somewhat. You'll find that eventually you won't even need the hallway at all. You'll be able to flit between reality as easy as closing your eyes. And on that day, well, you'll be near enough to understanding, I suspect. For now, let's press on. A world rushing up to meet you once more, isn't it? That same feeling of weightlessness, of anxiety building up in your stomach. That's good. That's fear. Fear is an evolutionary trait, you know. Humans are remarkable for how we've learned to survive. I would argue that there is no better survivor as a species than humans, though, admittedly, a great number of us individually are exceptionally poor at it. Let's direct you now. No wandering aimlessly through a field this time, eh? We're not seeing the same thing. I think I warned you about that last time, but even so, that city up ahead does look promising. Don't you see it? Maybe it takes the form of mountains in your vision, but let that illusion clear up. Those aren't rocks, but massive gray skyscrapers and an assortment of commercial buildings trailing around its base like cement slabs and empty tombs. Urban sprawl is the death of nature. Do you think they resent it? Nature, I mean, the collective they in this sense. Spirits, kami, the will of the forest, all that hokum. I don't expect us to delve right now into a religious discussion, but nature clearly reacts to what we humans do. Not consciously, but for lack of a better word, naturally. An involuntary response, the knee-jerk reaction on a global scale. You've heard of the butterfly effect, right? A butterfly flapping its wings in one nation can spawn tornadoes on the other side of the globe. Assuming the theory holds weight, and in the sake of academic fairness there is some debate about that, how can we be so naive as to assume that our massive encroachment upon the Earth doesn't bear a similar response? Can we carve up the land with man-made structures and not expect a retort? We're going to pay a visit to that city now. Let's try and angle our descent, You can't quite fly here, but a steady glide down towards the great structures. Yes, just like that. Good. Land on the tallest building you can see. Let's take a look down at the world beneath us. There we are, nice and easy. Not so scary, is it? Well, maybe you're not from a big city, not a New Yorker or a Chicagoan. Or maybe you are. Either way, you'll find the city not too alien. At first. Look at the buildings beneath you. Look out over this vast city and see how utterly insignificant it all seems. Such a waste, such decadence, such unnecessary excess. What's that noise in the distance? Strange, a great howling presence? No, not howling. Tearing. Ripping. Something clearly doesn't care for the city either. Better find your way out of here. No, don't jump, that's suicide. You're in their world now. No gentle gliding this time. Enter the stairwell. Quickly. Dark down here. Hollow, too. Not much call for foot traffic in a city of the dead. Lights are out. No, not quite out. You can see a very faint flicker from the bottom of the stairs and the landing. Cheap, red emergency lighting. It's just you and an unsettling crimson glow. Well, hurry down the stairs. It's all in your mind, and you should be quite fleet-footed. Every landing you get to has that same red glow. It's like the eye of a demon watching your progress. But don't bother with any of the doors. It would be of little use of you to enter them. They're all stagnant remnants, but they're not unoccupied. 20, 25, 30. This is taking a long time, isn't it? I want you to remember something from me. You have the time. The red glow isn't going anywhere, and that sound of distant chaos seems preoccupied for the moment. You worked in a building like this, didn't you? Maybe not quite so tall or as possessed of an unwholesome quality, but you do remember the stairs, even if you usually took the elevator. But there was that one time the elevator was out of order, and the stairwell was your only option. It was late at night, alone in the darkened hallways with just the sound of your footsteps running down the stairs. We don't like these spaces, these liminal spaces we call them, points between here and there, just like the hallway of your dreams. We don't know what to do with them. Our brains don't know how to file them. Means of egress aren't real places at all. They're just loading points for where we need to be and where we presently are. Do we fear them because we are afraid that one day we'll forget where we're going and wind up lost in a well like this one? Hey, here's the thought. What if you're really here, after all? What if you open your eyes and find yourself walking down this endless pit? Don't open your eyes to check, please. Preserve some of the magic of not knowing. Reality is often crueler than the wildest fantasy, but let's not tempt fate. For now, I think you are near the bottom. Yes, that's daylight beneath you. Open the final door. Freedom at last. You step out onto an empty street surrounded by buildings. Entirely too quiet, isn't it? A busy street corner like this should be bustling this time of day. Cars, pedestrians, dogs barking at everything within a 2-block radius. The sound of loud advertisements and street musicians blaring away, maddening the senses. But none of that is here. No, just a few parked cars eaten away by rust and decay. Streetlights whose power has long gone out. A chilly gray mist chokes the sky like before, and the fog hangs low between the buildings. When the world meets its final end, all that will remain are these tombstones, these memorials to mankind's greatness. Eventually, all will be reclaimed by nature and buried beneath the vibrant and unconquerable Mother Earth, assuming we don't blow the whole planet to Kingdom Come. Consider your contribution to this process. This decay is at least partly your burden. Where will your vehicle sit to collect dust for an eternity? What will become of your home when the Reaper harvests all of humanity? Will you be remembered by the next species to come to power, or will life just end? Meaningless and intrinsically as worthless as the day you are living right now. Oh, that sound is back. You'd better try to find the phone. Well, I can't tell you where it is. Use your common sense, you'll figure it out. Damn. That's close. Do you feel that? The lumbering beast just set a searching hand down the next block over. Look up into the mist and see the outline of its form, skeletal and yet massive and towering. Its torso, all you can really see apart from lumbering arms, each as wide as a street. Can it see you? I don't know. I don't know where you are, and I'm not planning on sticking around. Neither should you. Find the phone. Where would one be in the city? You can't think? Then run. Oh, I hear it now. Even between rounds, he's gaining on you. And it's not a far walk for him. Every single footstep brings him unbearably closer to you. The creature sees life in a lifeless city, and like a cockroach liable to lay eggs, it's hunting you down. Any more of you people in the infestation will go completely out of control. And that's what humans will be eventually. A pest for another greater civilization to have to clear out. Nature may have some housekeeping to do. Ah, a payphone, of course, brilliant. Do you remember that number now? I certainly hope so. I'll be waiting for you, if you can find your way out. Ah, good. Very good session today. I think we've actually gotten much closer to understanding you. Well, don't be alarmed. Obviously, this is an unorthodox treatment, but we're getting to the bottom of things. Great work, great work. I look forward to next week's session.